In the third part of this video series, the conclusion to the title, A Long Dream. In an early morning, after sleeping, are not worthless descriptions in language, but relevant. To how people can make other people feel so easily. A person can be brainwashed so simple that they smoke crack for 40 years. They end up in a place like this, don't recognize themselves in the mirror, see a person like me and call me evil, belligerent, a bastard. And then see the person over there, and make friends. But disregard the drug-free life, the cancer, the chordoma, the lack of housing in Seattle, Washington, the suffering, the assaults, the United States military chaplain application that I'm working on currently, and medical school, where I want to engineer, where I want to be a neurosurgeon for children. And have the belief these words that I'm speaking out of my mouth are lies, false claims, disastrous sounds. And then I gotta figure out what to do with the bad taste in my mouth from this world I live in now, where the days keep getting harder to want to help people medically. The days keep getting harder to want to help people psychologically, psychiatrically, and gosh darn heck, definitely spiritually. When the simplest solution to the problem for me in living in this world has to do with a notion of enlightenment in spiritual traditions, a notion of Buddha. And this life of peace and love, compassion, and silence. Those kinds of philosophies and traditions provide. And lastly, it's like a joke I made for my social worker requirements. So you go to the social worker every few weeks to be able to live in a home here in Seattle, Washington, if you're in the same circumstances as me, on Social Security disability insurance, from chordoma tumor, from mental health problems before they found the tumor, from no housing outside of your income, which for most people in technology companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, are plentiful. They're building more places for them every day. But for people like me, and probably other people similar in their situations or lives, have to either wait years to get into social housing, they're now calling it, have to sleep in shelters like I've done already, with risks involved, like a man just assaulting you because my right eye and my behavior didn't seem right to him. With my headphones on and me moving around, I looked like a crackhead, so he wanted to straighten me out, and he was African. And that's what maybe they do over there. They just fuck you up when you don't look like you are thinking straight. And so he busted my eye and lied to the police and went on his way. Disappeared afterwards. Never went to the shelter again that I saw. Who knows? Maybe he's a freaking gangster. Who cares though, you know? In the years that go by waiting and hoping and praying you get a spot in one of these discounted places to live, a person has to get prepared. Not only for where they're going and the location and where they might find food over there and where they might be able to just go out once in a while, not be worried or not be afraid or not have to avoid the McDonald's because there's been shootings over there, or make sure you stay away from over by the courthouse, especially because they still haven't figured out the violence. And had people hitting your wall when you turn the heat on, and have people listening to you when you make recordings to try to go to school, and the voices that you hear while you're recording, and have to explain the hypothetical, theoretical parts of, well, are they really listening? Are they really paying attention to their neighbor next door? Are they really hitting the wall when the heat goes on? And had to wrap your head around how simple it would be to solve these problems. Get the landlord to hear the heat on. Get the landlord to understand all they got to do is find out for themselves what's happening and listen and observe. And the person in the hallway who kicked in the door but didn't break it, and the strangeness of seeing some man just walk into some younger woman's home and not even knock, just turn the door, and having someone try to open your door, but it's locked, thankfully. At an unusual time of the day or night, because you can't even remember anymore, there's just been so much. And had another person talk about drugs, and had another person just walk around frantically staring and listening and smelling of liquor and booze and cigarettes, and having to walk through the door and try to get to your apartment with them just staring at you while they're smoking. And another person trying to kick in their own door late at night, middle of the day, early in the morning. You don't even know when it's happening because you don't even know what time is anymore. Or maybe I just don't know what time is anymore. And had to dream like I do at night when I can. And had to daydream in the sunlight of the afternoon or the late morning like today now. And think about what's possible, you know, like the sign on my wall, anything is possible, and not felt timid, not felt weak to give in to these people around me, or you, or whoever would be in this kind of world I live in. And then tried to figure out, have you ever had to be that physically well and that mentally tough in your life? Have you ever had to stare struggle and suffering down towards an actual object, like a person who kicks in the door with their foot, and seeing that foot outside your hole where you look out, and also seeing a human with that object, that shoe, that foot, and been nice enough to say, oh, that's not an object. I guess they're actually kicking. Because at first it sounded like someone was throwing something, the object. But then you're like, okay, you recognize it's a human. And you don't say, what you make comedy about, like the North Korea joke or some other vulgar joke you come up with, like me maybe. I've got a really bad mouth, I guess. I'm just rude. Cover up your hole so you don't ever have to see that kind of stuff again on your door. Make it look nice. Make an ashram, and then just say to a video for a school, I'm just applying for the medical school you have, and want you to know, don't feel bad if you say no, but please don't waste my time anymore. And don't treat me any less of a human than these people have treated me for the last 10 years. All because they don't understand what I'm saying. And they don't see the truth in my voice or the fire in my eyes for life and world. Because they don't understand my brain. They don't see how much I've worked to create mind in my brain to take good care of my body, so that I can have words to describe going from bottom up, hearing the planes outside, hearing the silence, and then going from the top down. And feeling my heart and my breath go in and out, and my heart going da-dun, 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 da-dun. The end.